It's 5 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. It's customary, we always offer a little prayer before we start, and being as I hadn't seen Mr. Shears in a while, I'm going to ask him if he'd do us the honors of leading us in prayer.
I will. Please bow with me. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this opportunity to enjoy another day here on earth with our fellow men and women. And Lord, I just pray that you'll be with each of us. Help us to help this board to undertake the business of the county in a way that you would be proud of. Help us always, Lord, to be good examples of your Son here on earth. It's in Christ's holy name we ask these things. Amen.
Amen. By state law, we're required to have a public comment period for anything that's germane to the subjects on this agenda. So if anybody'd like to speak, now would be the time to do it. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. And we've got a set of minutes in front of us we need approval of.
Motion.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That shows ayes have it. I guess we'll turn it over to Christopher and we'll walk through our agenda.
Alright, the first item on the agenda is request for an additional 15 SFUs. And this is at 800 Maddox Road. This is case one. It's McPeak Land Project, also known as Rockdale 8. Kimberly Horn, representing First Industrial Development LLC, is requesting an additional 15 SFUs of sewage flow per day, or up to 5,250 gallons per day, in reservation for what is currently known as the McPeak Land Project. The property being referenced is map 140, parcel 1. It contains approximately 40 acres and is located at 800 Maddox Road. The property is currently owned by First Industrial Investment LLC according to Wilson County Tax Records. Staff has been in contact with the City of Lebanon officials to discuss this proposal with them. The city has completed the review and fee calculations, and the fee letter to the developer from the city is attached in the packet, and that is the one with the 1 on top of it. All sewer access fees payable to the county for each proposed project will become due prior to the issuance of a final approval for a specific site plan and its related capacity commitment. There's a 10% reservation fee that is due within 30 days of this approval that is non-refundable if capacity is not used within 2 years. The committee previously reached an agreement that the standard timeline policy should be put in place for each of these sewer access reservation commitments that are approved. As such, staff's understanding of this commitment is that any approval of the sewer reservation fee will be for a period of 2 years with an extension of an additional 2-year reservation with presentation and approval of each site plan for the property in question. Total breakdown of the sewer payment. Total unreserved on the Couchville Pike segment per Wilson County currently is 251.36 units. As you're aware, the units were roughly around 115 units. We've had some capacity that's been expired that's rolled back in. This total request is 15 SFUs. The remaining unreserved segment capacity, if this case is approved, is 236.36. Those total units, to the best of my ability, I feel like they're pretty confident. I'm working with the City of Lebanon on some capacity numbers. We've got a few numbers that are a little different with the most recent audit data that has come out. So we're working to get those nailed down, but it's going to be plus or minus 5 to 10 units in either direction, because some of the audits are actually lower than what we reserved out. Total payment due to the county from this proposal, if fully built out to capacity, is $450,000. $45,000 reservation fee is due within 30 days of an approval. An assessment of the situation, staff does feel that the property qualifies for connection permissions from this committee and can recommend approval. This project is currently under construction and has been approved by the Wilson County Planning Commission. The previous reservation is valid until 5/14/2026, and the reservation fee has been paid. Staff will note that there's $252,000 for the purchase of the previous 14 SFUs that is still owed. I have been in talk with the developer. That check is actually being overnighted. I will have that in hand tomorrow for that $252,000. So then once I get that, if this request is approved, they'll have 30 days to pay the $45,000, and then I will probably tie the rest of the payment, which will be the $405,000, since this building has already been approved and stamped for construction. the rest of the payment will be due prior to a certificate of occupancy for the structure. That's the only way I have, it's the only thing I have to tie to it to make sure that we get payment.
I have a question.
Sure.
Is this, I was just looking at your comments, is this at the property, the McPeak property at the end of Maddox Road before you get into Rutherford County? Those
Yes,
parcels?
sir. Yes, sir. It's the, I think it's the last property in Wilson County at the moment.
And so there's already first industrial development going south towards it, and this would be just adding for additional buildings there.
Well, it's all owned by Schneider. The 400 Maddox Road is Schneider's first building. The McPeak property is the property directly to the south of the lane, which used to be the wooded substandard lanes in the south of the county there. And this is the same tenant, and they're asking for additional SFU.
I just want to get on the record that it was the property on Maddox Road.
Yes.
And this is
You got the parcel.
the same building, this is the one that's under construction.
This is the one that's roughly probably 60% of the way done.
Yeah.
Yep.
The one we saw the day we toured the Snyder facility. The one that will work directly south of that.
Yeah, the one that we saw through the windows.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, sir. Mhm.
So they already have 14 SFUs.
14
And need
SFUs?
15 more.
Yes.
They doing something different than what they originally planned?
No, well, when it was originally approved as a spec building, Schneider, whenever they got the contract for these two buildings, they had a significantly more employees than what the
They
spec
came
building.
back to
Yeah.
get more for the first building.
Yes, the first building, it originally had a spec request of 7 units. They requested 28 additional units to get them to 35 for that structure. And touring that building, that structure is gonna house a couple hundred more employees than this one, but this will bring this one to 29 units. And then their building to the north of that will be 35 total. So just Snyder, that'll put them at 64.
I don't think they're gonna need to come back to get some more at some point for that one.
I think they put a pretty good buffer in there for them to grow. I won't be able to answer that question confidently until I get audit data and see what they're actually using. I do know that they do have a kitchen in that facility.
It's just sort of hard to predict.
I know that when they have kitchen facilities, they use a lot more.
Yeah.
And our numbers are calculated based off everything that goes into the building, not necessarily what is exactly going down the drain. So this accounts for all sorts of irrigation that they may be doing externally as well.
But our numbers are based off what the city actually recommends, really, aren't they, Christopher?
Yes, sir, but they're calculating, they get all their audit numbers from Gladeville Utility. And Gladeville Utility only has one tap on all those buildings down there. Now, how the developer chooses to split the tap after the meter, they don't have an issue with, but Gladeville's only got one bill for these buildings
So
down there.
these units combined will be spread out amongst both buildings, is what you're saying?
No.
Not that
the-
it really matters, I don't.
No, the 29 units, or the 14 that's already been approved and the additional 15 will all be tied to 800 Maddox Road, the
Okay.
one building.
But
We were talking about the other building to the north, which is also the same company, different
I
building.
understand that.
But when they go to audit, that's going to include both buildings' capacity. That's what you're saying,
Yeah.
correct? Because there's only one tap.
No, I mean,
Each
there's only,
building just has one tap.
each building
Okay,
has one
okay.
tap.
It's like
but
they don't have a separate
Yeah.
irrigation tap.
But we still have to go off the city recommendation. We
Yes.
have
Right.
no way to
No.
monitor anything or regulate, so. Chair will entertain a motion.
Most to approve based on staff recommendation.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Not all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Doesn't show the ayes have it.
Alright, the second item is a request for refund. This is a Rollins property located at Highway 452. A refund of the reservation fee of $600,000 has been requested by Charles Bowen representing the Rollins Property Land Holdings. When an SFU approval is granted, the committee requires a reservation fee to be paid in the amount of 10% of the total amount due. The applicant is made aware of this reservation fee at the time of approval and in the approval letter that is sent out in the following week after an approval is granted. The reservation fee states that it is to be non-refundable in the event if the applicant fails to pay in full the entire fee for the reservation of the SFUs. I have attached the letter of request for refund into everyone's packet and the memos from the City of Lebanon and what improvements will be required by the city to handle the additional flow. The case was handled differently this case was handled differently as the City of Lebanon did not issue an approval letter on the front end. The city in this instance wanted an approval letter stating that the county was willing to sell capacity to the applicant. The applicant submitted documentation to the board on what they anticipated for the property, and the approval of this request was subject to the City of Lebanon's written approval, and that the developer pay all expenses to the city and or county to make this happen for pump station improvements. With the above information stated and there being no language that allows for a refund of fees, staff recommends denial of the request. I'm going to walk you through kind of the documentation that's here. The first document that you have is is the minutes from our approval. And if you look at the minutes page, it's the very last paragraph that covers that, where it stated that it's 150 SFUs from the Stewart's Ferry Pike, 150 SFUs from the Couchville Pike, to be a total of 300. Written approval and developer to pay all expenses to the city and or county to make this happen. That's just a copy of the minutes that were approved at that meeting. Your second document is the original denial letter for availability, your second is the approval letter that was sent to the applicant on July 18th for the July 5th meeting, reiterating what's due within the first 30 days, stating that the 10% reservation fee is there and it's non-refundable. That's a copy of the approval letter that was sent out. Your third letter is an original sewer availability denial letter from the City of Lebanon, which was prior to our meetings, and that was because the City of Lebanon wanted to ensure that the county was willing to sell capacity. After, so there's a chain of events that's happening. After that was done with the City of Lebanon, the applicant requested kind of a terms of service of what all was going to be required to support those SFUs. So you have the first letter from the City of Lebanon dated August 14th, and it is a description of what is going to be required to get all those SFUs to their treatment plant in the City of Lebanon. And that totals, I think the big number that comes into question is $12.4 million. The applicant followed up with a request for a breakdown of how those numbers came to the $12.4 million. So the last letter you got, that is August 25th, it has that it broke down a little bit more in detail on where they're needing these improvements and the fees for each section. The next document is an email chain, and this was approved through email. It was not done through formal letter. This was a 17-day extension on the required deposit of $600,000 from the original 30 days that was extended. And this comes up to August 4th. The original due date was August 4th. This 17 days got them to August 21st, and this was an extension of the 30 days. The last document was the request for an additional extension, and a 15-day extension was granted. This one was sent in the form of a memorandum, and this got their sewer capacity payment that was due September 5th of 2023.
And since I'm the guy on the email that took the polling and then Grant got that, sent them the notification that we were willing to let them extend, that was on the basis that they were getting down the short roads with Lebanon. And if you look at the dates, that tracks with the numbers Lebanon gave them. Because that was August 25th, August 14th and August 25th. And our email correspondence for the 17 days and then additional 15 days was, I think, August 5th and then August 21st till September 5th.
But that's all I'm happy to answer any other questions that you may have on that. I tried to compile as much of the complimentary documentation for this project as I could. This is everything that I believe has happened over the last 2 years. And I believe the receipt that they paid, it was for the $600,000 reservation. I believe they paid it, I think it was actually paid September 5th.
I guess first thing.
September 1st, I believe, was the date on receipt.
First thing we need, I guess, is a formal request for reimbursement money from their attorney.
Well, I think that's what
Do
you've
you
got.
have
If you want
that?
to hear from them.
Mr. Hatcher, y'all folks want to say something?
Oh,
I understand, but I don't know, I don't know which one's supposed to say what, so I'm referring to you.
Well, your staff's done a good job going through the history of this. I'm Charles Bone, Sam Jackson's my law partner, and we've been representing the Rollins for a long, long time. And I think that you've got the history. What you don't have, I was trying to hear the denial letters that the city of Lebanon has issued saying, you know, they can't serve the property, and they've said that to this potential buyer that we have, and they've said that to us as well. And not only that they can't serve it, but they don't want to serve it is kind of the bottom line of this, that they would like, if we're able to make this work with the city of Smyrna, have Smyrna serve this area. And, you know, the price has gone where it's, you know, the cost is just astronomical now. Even if the city of Lebanon would serve it, and of course this was all contingent on the city agreeing to do that. So we think we're entitled to ask for our money back, and you all have had the money on deposit for 2 years, and you know, you all did what you were supposed to do. We've done what we were supposed to do, but you know, we haven't been able to make this work for the city of Lebanon. I don't know whether Sam wants to add anything to that, but appreciate your consideration of this, and you know, we would request that y'all let us have our money back. Y'all keep the interest and let us have the money back. Thank you.
Yes.
And I'm happy to answer any questions you got along the way there.
Well, I guess need an opinion from the county attorney about
Well,
what we have documentation, are we by law required, not required to do? Not the moral part, but
well, I'll start with what Christopher said, and we don't have any provision built in for a refund. Now, having said that, I don't know that we ever considered that we'd have to.
exactly.
So we don't have that in place. So before I get too far ahead of myself, if you were to consider some type of refund or partial refund, I would think that you would need to make it very specific to this particular instance, so that we don't have future refunds requests coming at us right and left in case the economy turns down. Now, having said that, and I'm not the keeper of the money here, here's the guy that's got the key to the safe. It appears to me that, and I've had some discussion before I get here now with full disclosure, but it appears to me that if it's dependent upon the city of Lebanon doing something and they can't get them to do it, it's not their fault. Now, you can say on the other hand, well, they wagered that they'd be able to get it and they lost that bet. No, that's true, but still, I know these fellows they're not pretty, they're honorable people. If they made an effort, and I believe that. So having said that, I'll top it off with a third thing, and nobody has said this to me, so please don't take it that it's coming as a threat from out in left field somewhere. But $600,000 is a lot of money. That's worth arguing for in a court of law. So keep that in the back of your mind too.
Certainly. I guess so. The next opinion I need would be from Mr. Maynard. He's our financial manager. You're the business expert for the county, as far as I'm concerned. And
I understand everything that's being said, so I'm just going to broach it from this thing. Number one, if you do refund it, I agree with what Mike said, refund some or a portion of it. do it in such a way that you're not setting a precedent, as be as specific as you can. You know, everybody who comes forward and buys these things is non-refundable for a reason. The same reason that when you enter into a real estate transaction, if you don't close on the property, you earn your earnest money. There are other contracts that are done in business that basically gives me the right to purchase this piece of property in the next 2 years, just to draw a parallel. Right, so I'm paying for the right to purchase that property for the next 2 years. I may not purchase it. And if I don't, I still get the money. I view it very much like that. Now, if you want to, I understand what Mike's saying about lawsuits and whatever else. If you want to consider refunding part of it, I would understand that completely. There's a lot of documentation to the contrary, but we've never been here before.
I understand. That's why we need to have a long conversation and think wisely, make sure we don't rush into something. Does anybody on the voting member of the committee have anything they'd like to say?
The only thing I'll say, Mr. Chair, just take it for what it's worth. It's really not decisive either way. My recollection in reading this last paragraph, at the conclusion of the minutes, I should say, just for the record, on July 5th, 2023, at 5 p.m. when we met, at the conclusion of the discussion, motion to approve the 150 SFUs from Stewart's Ferry Pike and 150 SFUs from Couchville Pike, subject to the City of Lebanon's written approval and the developer to pay all expenses to the city and or the county to make this happen at the Speedway, Stewart's Ferry, and Couchville Pike pumping stations. This capacity is exclusive to the Rollins property master plan of the property, et cetera, et cetera. I believe I was talking with a little bit with Joe, but also Rob Porter, which is one of Joe's founding partners, about the development of this request, if you will, for sewer access initially. And at that time, it's pretty evident to me that what was being discussed were improvements possibly to the Speedway pumping station, Stewart's Ferry Pipe pumping station, and the Couchville Pipe pumping station. In reading quickly through what has been provided by the City of Lebanon, particularly the memorandum of August 25th, if you go down to the second page of it on the back, it's got quite a few other locations that they're incorporating into this that was not part of the original understanding either for us or for them. In fact, I think they had said something to the effect of that the way that we made the original approval of 150 from this capacity and 150 from that capacity may not work for them as the City of Lebanon. And that's evidenced also by the fact that they're going all the way up the line back towards Lebanon with additional necessary improvements if this were to happen.
But now, the one argument I would make, this body has no say in what City of Lebanon, how they operate their sewer system. All we own is capacity.
No.
We don't have any authority or any ability to have any authority over what they require. So that, to me, that separates that portion from what we're talking about here.
The only other thing I would bring up would be, is there any possibility for extension to give them additional time to work out whatever they need with the City of Lebanon, or are they pretty well going off into that good night after this, if they get the refund and not
I guess that's
an
a
abandoned
question for
project?
Mr. Bone. Is there an option for some kind of resolution with the city in the future?
Not that we don't know of any. I mean, and this, you know, when they issue the denial letter, that's pretty clear. I mean, you know, they didn't say, well, maybe we can do this, maybe we can do that. It just says, you know, the denial of service is final.
Did I hear somebody say, maybe Christopher read it, that this one was a little different in the sense that the City of Lebanon wanted us to act on it before they gave us any indication of whether or not they would approve it?
That's
Is that the only one we've had like that?
Yeah, well, in the 10 years I've been doing it, yes, sir.
I don't recall one either, but I'm not real sure what I recall.
But we gave an extension for them to make sure they had their ducks in a row.
Two
Yeah.
extensions.
Two extensions,
Yeah.
Right.
short, but two.
And I'll be the first to state, I don't know what the resolution is, but we certainly are not in the business of trying to take money from people and not provide services. That's not what the county's about. But we did enter into in my mind, a legal binding agreement, and the county honored its obligations, and so did the other party. But I think we need to maybe consider, like Mr. Maynard sort of mentioned, a compromise resolution into the problem of maybe partial payment at some point. I'm not sure what that needs to be. I don't know where the starting point would be, or if there is a starting point for y'all in y'all's mind.
Well, we're not the client, you know,
I understand.
and I don't know that I mean, we told them we would come and make their best case, and if you all had a suggestion, you know, different than giving us the money back, we bring it back to them and see if it was agreeable to them. But I don't have a suggestion about that.
I understand. There's a whole lot of information here to digest that we've just received all at one time as far as the actual documentation.
Let me follow up on this, Mr. Chairman, because what you said was exactly right. You all did everything you were supposed to do. We did everything we were supposed to do. And, you know, Mike can tell you, you know, when there's an intervening event that prevents performance, I mean, Sam is the real lawyer about this, but, you know, when that prevents performance, you know, I think that justifies, you know, a cancellation of the deal. And that's what we're really asking for, and we think would be appropriate. But we understand y'all gotta, you know, y'all have been, we have no problem at all with what y'all have done. Y'all have done your job, and we wanted the sewer, and there's no
Well,
question about that, but it just is an impossibility of performance.
The two people that were the two entities that were the parties to the deal, both of them did what they said they'd do. The third party is the one, as Charles has correctly noted, through the monkey wrench here. Mr. Chairman, if I'm not out of line asking this, did y'all come with any idea what you might take for this to go away? I just put it the way I know to put it. The reason I say is you're kind of asking us to bid against ourselves if we go down that route.
Exactly.
Mike, let me ask this, and you've done this longer than I have, and you and I both been doing it for a while. Maybe they could give you authority for you and I to negotiate and then come back with if we get a proposal, come back with that. That way we both have the ability to have some discussion.
I don't feel comfortable negotiating it unless they tell me to, Sam, but if you make me a proposal, I'd certainly get it to them. And then we could, next meeting, take that up.
That's fine with me, too.
If that's something the board wants to do,
I could say, or we could grant you authority to negotiate if you're willing to do that. With the final say being by this body.
I'll do whatever y'all ask me to do. Hopefully I always have. I just, I've kind of got something in my mind that's fair, that I think's fair, but I might be the only one here that thinks that. So, if that's what you want, I've known all these guys a long time. They tell me something,
This is it's a terrible situation for both sides to be in.
One additional point, since they mentioned going to Smyrna, somebody did. Did y'all mention that?
Yeah.
I think that's their own.
I think that's gonna take action to this board,
Certainly it will.
because this board was given jurisdiction over that growth area from the Water and Wastewater Authority. So for them to use another provider in that growth area in Wilson County, I think this board would have to relinquish their rights to it.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
possibly this, they may then have to go back to the water authority, but that would be for you.
Well, you know, what changes things, then, if they gonna have to, we gonna have to give it up, maybe we need some more money from them.
But,
I like
He
the way
wasn't, he
you
wasn't,
think.
he wasn't listening.
You didn't hear you, what did you say?
Yeah, you heard me. Charles may not have, but he was talking, you heard me.
the only reason I brought that up is
I
just
did,
so
yeah.
you know, if they're intent on trying to skin this cat a different way, they're probably still gonna have to be before you in the future.
That's right. But this body and the county as a whole and the citizens county, we're not here to try to be in a for-profit business, but we do have
Absolutely.
obligation to the taxpayers to manage their assets as well as we possibly can. So I guess what we're looking for is a motion to give our county authority to negotiate and come back to us with a recommendation. Is that what it needs to be, Mike?
If that's what you want.
I mean, that's what I'm
not
asking.
advocating for it.
That's not what I want, that's what I'm asking the board if there is a motion for.
Having Mike negotiate that, is that?
Sir?
Having Mike be the, I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with them submitting the deal and then presenting it back to us, but having him do all the negotiation, is that putting a lot of weight on his shoulders to think in the, I mean,
Or whatever we
he's
might
got a
agree,
number
coming back
that,
here.
he's got a number that he thinks fair. If they present that number and he agrees to that, is that number said and done once it's presented back to this committee?
No, I'll bring it back here.
Well, that's what I'm
Y'all
saying,
gotta sign off.
it would need to come back here for final
Yes.
approval, but Mike's a representative of the county, so just like we are, and I think he's very capable of negotiating for us, and I understand negotiations of that type probably would be easy to handle one-on-one, sitting down face to face. Seems like we've got some pretty easygoing folks that realize both sides needs to try to find some happy ground somewhere.
Probably neither one of us have to cuss.
I'm not promising.
Well, if he does, I ain't promising.
Sometimes you just want to.
Yeah.
Which would the county attorney rather do? Would you rather do the negotiating, or would you rather have him present something and then bring it to us? Not to throw it back onto you, but I don't want to put something on you that won't either.
Here's the difference. If they present us something and you turn it down, we're back to the drawing board. If we talk about it and come up with something, then maybe that'll put it to bed, but if it doesn't, if you send us back and say this ain't gonna do it, negotiate some more, then, but we may get a step ahead by doing it
That's
this
what
way.
negotiations are about.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
but if you
you know,
don't want it, I'll put it on Mr. Maynard's shoulders.
well, he's got the key to safe, but I just hope he give me the key to the lockbox. If that's what you want, but I'll do it. I know this gentleman.
Well, like I say, I mean, I'm not gonna make that recommendation. I sort of throw the idea out there, but if one of the voting members wants to make a recommendation of some type, we'll entertain it. Well, seeing none, I guess we'll,
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Are you good with this, Mike?
Yeah, I'll be all right with it.
I hate to say I'm over here reading an attorney, but I'm over here reading an attorney. Your face don't seem like you're good with it.
Well, the chairman said something at the start, so I want y'all to know where I'm coming from. We're not in the business of making money. And we don't want to get the reputation out there that we don't play fair. And I think we have played fair. But I think from everything I'm hearing, these guys have too, with their client has. And I don't want to be too critical of a fellow place in the county, but I wish they'd have kept us from having to be in this position. I don't like the idea of the town outside this county providing services here, but it may be all we can do. I've said a lot, Jeremy, to say,
We don't want to put you in a bad spot.
you won't, and let me tell you, if I bring you something and you don't like it, you tell me, you ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I promise you, but I think what we come up with will be something fair.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Well, I'll let you a second, how about that?
so we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I would like to put us a small timeline in, like, where we could get on with this. It doesn't need to drag on forever.
I agree.
I think y'all are capable of
Yeah.
handling it. I don't know what that would be.
Give us 30 days.
Okay, we'll meet back in less than 30 days, and we'll hear a proposal, if that's suitable with y'all.
Yes, sir.
Any more discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Any opposed? Let's show the ayes have it.
Oh, you leaving now?
The school system ain't got no money, he don't care about that.
It didn't cost him nothing today, did it?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, just give me a shout.
Yeah.
See you.
Thank you all. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Y'all get that hole down there, Doug, where we can drive from Lebanon to Nashville underground.
Let's don't book any trips.
I
If I were to-
don't know if I want to be underground driving a car.
Well, they say it's gonna be like, 20 feet below the highest utility. You know, all the utilities are gonna be buried, and then it's gonna be 20 feet deeper than that, so that's in some real limestone.
You think they know how much rock's down there?
They
Talking about that
say,
tunnel?
they say that, yeah, they say that's not a problem with their machines, that their machines,
And not be scared.
you know, that's crazy. Thank y'all.
Yeah,
Stay
appreciate it.
Sam.
Bye-bye. Good to see you. I'm just a driver, y'all understand?
All right, Christopher, we're back to you.
Alright, and the next item is a request for a lease from property from service area. This is unique. The board has never done this particular request. We've taken in service area in the past, we've never released service area. This is a request to be released from the South Wilson Sewer Access Service Area. It has been requested by Jamie Gillespie for representing Cellcat Title Holdings. The current property located at 299 McCreary Place is zoned R1 Rural Residential and has a use variance for what has been interpreted by the Board of Zoning Appeals for a school use. The zoning for the property is still considered a residential zone. However, the language in the original petition dated 4/19/2001, the bylaws that created this committee, for service area states that residential customers shall include single-family units, duplexes, multifamily units, and any combination thereof. That in essence is saying that we have service area jurisdiction over any use in our service area except for those 4 uses just listed, which is residential uses in aspect. With this language, the Sewer Access Committee, regardless of zoning, has service rights over this property, being that it has been interpreted as a school use. Typical requests that come before the committee are much more commercial in nature and have predominantly been on commercially zoned tracts. Staff feels that this request is valid because if the use of the property were to some way revert back to a residential use, this would be served by the water authority as opposed to us having a connection with SFUs. The release of this property will allow the applicant to negotiate an agreement with the Wilson Water and Wastewater Authority to provide sewer needs, this being a school use with a dormitory accommodation for the students' staff. For the students, staff feels that this request can be interpreted as a residential in nature and can recommend approval. I do want to kind of iterate my comments a little bit there. Why I'm in support of it, just because it's kind of a unique request. I'm not saying that anything will ever happen to this property, but my concern is if we issue SFUs to this particular requesting user, the use that's allowed on the property is just a use on appeal. So it's not saying that that's the only use that'll ever be on the property, it's just the one that's been granted at present. There's nothing that stops this property from developing into single-family residential. And if we were to approve SFUs for the property, we sell them with the land and they're there forever after somebody purchases them. If, for say, the property were to develop and go residential after the fact, the school decides to close down and develop, they would in essence have SFUs to our sewer allocation that we no longer have rights to.
I don't think that's correct.
I mean, that's how I'm
The agreement
interpreting it.
from the very get-go is there would be no residential tied to it in any form.
Right, and that's
Correct,
what,
Mike?
that's what we're selling it to, is a commercial business, but we tie it to the property, but once we sell it, we don't have any means in our bylaws, to my interpretation, to go back and get
No,
it.
but the city does. They don't have to service.
Yeah, that'd be a different kind of.
Because if they ever open
agreement
that,
there.
if you ever open that door, you can't close it at all, Christopher. And that-
Right.
They're not interested in that. They don't have the ability.
Well, that was my interpretation of what I read, and that's my concerns about releasing the property. I don't have an issue with releasing the property. I think the water authority can more than adequately serve this particular property for the use that's provided. And I don't know how many SFUs they would need if they came through us. I've not gotten down in the weeds on that particular part of it.
Do we have anybody here representing this case?
Yes. My name's Jamie Gillespie with James Plus Associates, civil engineer for the project. And we have a projected use of about 1,750 gallons per day. It's not a very big use. They're going to have 32 beds, 16-room dormitory, and they will not serve any food, or not prepare any food on the premises. It's just they bring the food in and bring the food out. Every meal is catered in and catered out. And so we started out looking at, the owner had a soil survey done, and we looked at a drip irrigation system. We submitted a preliminary engineering report. We actually started talking to the state. This is before I realized all this stuff, that I just thought we were going to maybe do a drip system and work through the state for a permit without understanding the situation with where we were within the county and all that. However, that's where we're at. So I'm not sure on that 750 gallons per day if is it 350?
That'd be 5 SFUs.
Yeah, 5 SFU, I guess is what we did.
So the property is capable of having its own drip field, is what you're stating?
We believe that it is. We've gotten a
Okay.
soil survey and done some preliminary information. We sent it to the folks at Adenas just to let them look at it to see that we're heading down the right path with it. That's what we think.
My concerns with this is not necessarily pertaining to the business you propose, but the tract of property, as large as it is. What if they want to sell a portion of it and there's a large warehouse purchases it? Will they be able to utilize the step system?
Not under its current zoning. They'd have to go through the rezoning process. Now, say that it got rezoned at the county commission and the warehouse were purchased, or maybe utilize the facilities that this gentleman's gonna construct. If the zoning was there, I think they would be entitled to those 5 SFUs for that commercial use, yes.
How large of a property is this?
It's 40
Yeah.
acres.
About 40 acres.
And this is right beside the 840,
Yep.
just to the
Well, yeah,
west of.
it's where, it's where McCreary Place dead ends into this property.
That's the
Mhm.
access road
But- Yeah.
that Dwayne Wright.
So is that date correct? This has been, it originally was requested in 2001?
No, that's the bylaws of this committee, that's when those
Oh.
were created. The
Okay.
language that says
Okay.
that we have service rights for everything except
Okay.
residential uses.
Very sorry.
No.
Like, this has been floating around.
That's when the committee was originated.
Okay.
But can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Your intent is to negotiate with the Water and Wastewater Authority to provide a step or stay sewer system that the Water and Wastewater Authority provides, not a traditional septic.
That's our intent. I mean, the intent,
What's-
if we released here, then we have to follow their guidelines.
For a public sewer system as installed, or as taken over by the Water and Wastewater Authority once
Right.
installed,
Right.
not a traditional septic. That's what I'm trying to
It
get
would
at.
not be a traditional septic. It would have to be a drip system. It wouldn't be a traditional septic system.
Okay.
See, to me, that sort of goes back to my original question. If we release authority of the whole tract of property, we more or less turned it over to Worcester County Water Authority, no matter what's built there.
They would have to
They
get
have service, they have the
but-
right to service it then,
but to put a warehouse on it, they would have to get it rezoned.
but I mean,
Right
Do we-
now,
I know that we probably don't have one today, but we're creating the situation for that is what I'm concerned with.
what are you talking about?
We want to provide the sewer for all of that corridor, of
Correct.
course.
Okay.
And if we relinquish the area for that large a piece of property, and it's divided in the future, we gave it away as far as being able to say that we're going to provide service to it.
But you,
There's
with very
nothing-
limited exception, you can't really provide service to it anyways, outside of that school that's there, or being proposed to be there. Because it's
School?
zoned A1,
Oh, you're talking about there?
R1. It's
Okay,
zoned R1.
okay.
or R2, is it?
Mhm. But zonings, but what we know as well as anybody, zonings change quite regularly, Tom.
They can.
It just
I think that
requires,
would be a consideration though in this case.
is there some way we can tie it specifically to this business? I mean, I'm not wanting to help them. But you're opening a door you can't close.
I don't, there may be a, I'd probably have to talk with Mike and I think Bob Rochelle is the water authority's attorney, is that correct?
Spent the whole afternoon with you.
I'd probably have to get all of them to sit down because
Yeah,
right
right.
now, like the service areas, they follow existing parcel lines on how it was originally created and our planned growth area. This would be the first thing that's tied, not to the parcel, but a specific use.
Could you tie it to, and I'm just asking, could you tie it to uses as approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals at this date? And if they want to do anything different, they got to come back before this board.
I don't know the answer to that. That probably will require some discussion. And then I heard the gentleman say 40 acres. I'm wondering if they could limit that down to 10, 15, 20 acres. And then so that you've got that other still in our district, but that may cut down their ability to expand or grow.
They have a certain model for what they do, and as far as I know at this minute, of course, the owner's not here to speak on that matter, but as far as I know, I don't know that they're looking to expand beyond that.
Well, I'm not stating that's their intentions at all, but, I mean, property changes hands.
I understand that
Businesses cease to exist.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, they could up and move and
I
go
mean,
somewhere else or shut down.
Exactly, I mean, they're locating here, and they may decide that there's a better place to be located in the future, or so forth.
Seems to be pretty valuable property out there where you guys live.
I'd make a motion on this to defer till this next meeting we're gonna have in the next 30 days,
Let us talk some.
and let you do some research for us.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
May I ask, is there any information that we can provide that would be helpful in your consideration? We want to be available to help in any way that we can. We just really try to help these folks get going
Yeah,
and recognize this process.
Mike may have a suggestion.
Yeah. First of all, I'm not going to do anything about planning office.
Yes.
Kind of guiding me.
Mhm.
But we may want to sit down and talk to him.
Well, we would welcome whatever we can to work it out.
Yeah.
Whatever that situation is, because we just want to try to help them get going. They're excited about being here, and we just want to try to help them get to that point. And we appreciate your consideration and recognize this. Sometimes it's just not quick and easy decisions.
Right.
Okay,
The only thing that I could think of that might be pertinent is if your property owners, business owners could deem how small of a piece of property they could size down to of what they could operate on with this system. Well, I don't know what that would be.
but you're not asking them to go and reduce their lot size. You're just saying,
No, not,
I
no.
mean, they would have the land holdings, it's just how much is gonna be tied up in this
But the
agreement.
business.
Can I show you something?
But the business will operate on a set, certain size.
Can I show you something real quick?
Yes, sir.
Would there be a way, like instead of, I mean, if there's heartburn with releasing the whole tract, would there be a way to just determine where we could just release school use from the bylaws?
Well, that's what we want to research. And I think that's what the chairman is concerned about,
We would
that
still-
we'll release for school use and then all of a sudden you got a warehouse. That's what he's trying to avoid.
Well, that's what I was trying to attach it to the Board of Zoning Appeals approval today.
Yeah.
This is a copy of the overall plan. This is the dorm room with regards to proximity and size, what's going on, and this is the training facility. And the training facility is unique because it's 50 feet tall, so they can have poles, indoor poles, and do training inside. And so, this is the soil field that's been identified, where the soil study's been done. All this other property that they use, the reason they have this big of a site is for their pole yards. They've got a mock-up substation and of course, distribution and power lines. So the need for the sewer is tied to this area.
Well, that's what we're getting at.
But the sewer's up here.
Yeah.
But the drip line's up
Yeah,
there.
the drip line is there, but as far as like what they need, they don't need the whole property for the sewer consideration. It just happens to, it's that size of property. I don't know if that helps, but I guess I just want to show you this in case you hadn't ever seen it.
Yes.
I think the way we might want to approach it, rather than asking to split off property or whatever, is just, can we limit it to this use and if it changes? And I don't know, this is the second question we've had today we've never dealt with, so whatever we do, we need to.
Well, we need to take
Sure.
our time and maybe
Yeah.
try to do
We'll
a good
take a look
job.
at
of it.
These properties in the past, and I'm not saying you will now, but you'll come back later on, probably about 10 years from now. School's doing great, you're gonna wanna add an additional bathhouse on, right up there, down here. You have more, that's what I'm saying. You don't know what, right now you're planning for the future too.
Well, and as far as that too, I guess as far as what they're able to do, might be somewhat limited just based on the availability of the source of the drip system. Unless they come up with some other decentralized type facilities, you know. I mean, like you said, anything can be changed down the road.
We talk about
Motion and a second, did we take a vote to defer? We've got a motion and a second to defer. Need a vote, all those in favor of? Aye. Any opposed? That show like sign has it.
Christopher, you got his contact information?
I do, yes, sir.
Okay, Christopher.
This time,
The final item on the agenda is request to add sewer service area. I've attached a map for this one, just to show you what parcel it is. This is a request to extend sewer service area for what is known as Central Pike Elementary School. A request for the extension of sewer service area has been made by Joe Haddix on behalf of the Wilson County School Board to have the Sanitary Sewer Access Committee request to the Wilson Water and Wastewater Authority to release property from their service area. Property is referenced as 14045 Central Pike, further referenced as map 101 parcel 45.02. This site is the location of the Central Pike Elementary School. Request of this property will allow the county to negotiate with the city of Lebanon about servicing the property with public sewer. With the nearby location of the existing city of Lebanon force main, staff sees that this could be a very ideal situation for the committee to come to an agreement with the city of Lebanon for servicing Central Pike Elementary School. Staff recommends approval of the request for the Sanitary Sewer Access Committee to submit the request to amend service area of the Wilson County Water and Wastewater Authority. If you all remember the last time we did this, it was on Couchville Pike, where we extended sewer area to take in what is known as Chewy Warehouse, because that was outside of our existing sewer services area. So this is kind of it's not an immediate process, but they want to get the ball rolling on this before the school gets under the 8 ball of where they're opening with not 100% sure where their sewer service is coming from. So the process for this, we have a form that will be filled out by the applicant in the office. If this is granted here, the chairman of this committee signs it, the attorney signs it, and then that document is then forwarded to the county commission to be adopted by the legislative body, because that's the only way that we can work with the water authority with the legal jargon that has to go down through this to get everybody to sign off on it, is to get our legislative body to say grace over this committee, which I know is unique because this committee does not answer to the county commission directly. But in terms of releasing service areas or acquiring them, that is the only means that we have at this point in time. Is that request, if granted, will be forwarded to the county commission after I get the signatures from the chair and the attorney to validate our minutes. And then we go to the county commission, and then the water, wastewater board, I don't know what they're exactly called.
So in other words, the county would be asking for the Water and Wastewater Authority to release their rights to this property, wouldn't it?
Yes,
Sounds
sir.
like a convoluted way to go about doing it, but I'll make the motion, get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I don't know a cleaner way to do it, because this committee doesn't answer to the county commission, and we tried the route with just getting the minutes for this committee approved. The wastewater authority's attorney was not comfortable with that. He wanted the legislative body to act on it. I know there's a lot of extra steps, but that's the only way I've got them to accept it in the past. So I'm happy to hear other ideas, but that one works.
If that one works, my motion is still the
So
same.
we've got to take care of, we're building a school, we got to have sewer for it. That's the bottom line.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
And that motion is to do whatever it was.
Mr. Mayfield, do you know what's been said here?
Yes, thank you.
I was like, I could repeat what he said, but whatever it is, that's what we need to do to get y'all what you need, so.
Yeah, in the past, we will, after the legislative body adopts it, I will give that form and everything to the applicant, which will be Mr. Haddix in this case, and that will allow him to appeal to the water authority to get that request
But
granted.
I guess it is worth further stating, the units that they will need will go against our capacity at Stewart's Ferry, correct? Is that gonna be what the?
At present, that is not on the table. Right now,
They've gotta come from somewhere.
well,
Hello,
right-
Mr. Haddix.
I was gonna say, right now, from what I've heard from the politicians, the mayors of the communities, the city of Lebanon is willing to serve it, and our capacity has not been brought up, but the county will be on the hook for a pump station and the 4,100 feet of line to get to their service main.
The school system will be on the hook.
Whoever you wanna say, they're all under the same
It's
umbrella.
included in their bid, yeah. So,
Go.
good
I
evening,
can't
not
tell
to,
you.
thank you all for hearing us out. I have not received a formal statement from the city of Lebanon, but verbally they have said they are going to require or request that the school's capacity would come out of the available capacity of the Stewart's Ferry pump station, which is gonna be in the neighborhood of 43 SF.
Does that mean, I guess I'm putting you on the hook to go back and find the answer to this, that mean they're gonna waive any fees that are involved?
I imagine you'll see me back, me
That would
Mr.
seem to be the
Mayfield.
proper,
requesting a waiver of
you know,
capacity.
It'd be a-
making us have a school get open up. So we've got a motion, to anybody second it,
Second.
Karen
I
did.
did.
Karen second
Karen,
it.
second.
It'd be a waiver of 1.29 million.
How much now?
1.29 million,
Is that our part or the city's part?
that's just our part.
It's 15,000 gallons a day, whatever that
Well, he
divided.
said
How much is
43
the
SFUs.
43 SFUs.
How much is the bid on the
43?
pumping station at 4,200 feet of line?
More than that.
Which is,
Figured that.
We did waive Gladeville Middle School, the fee to that. I cannot speak for Gladeville Elementary.
Glade, I got your description.
Okay.
I can. Gladeville Elementary did pay in 2008 a total fee of $90,000 for 18 SFUs, so it's 5,000.
Yeah.
Gladeville Middle in 2017, the fee was waived at $400,000.
Yep.
And that was for 80 SFUs.
What's the capacity up there, Mr. Mayfield,
The school,
at the middle school?
it's 1,500.
Okay. Which is elementary's 1,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's just for conversation. But we've got a motion on the floor and a second. We need to vote. All those in favor say aye.
No.
Aye. All those opposed? Show the ayes have it. Oh, I guess that's all of our agenda. Any new business?
No, I don't have anything else. The only thing that I would have for you is if we're gonna do something less than 30 days from now is 9/11, which is Thursday. The Tuesday before that will be September 9th. Just to keep that in mind, because you put, it's 30 days or less is what is your motion.
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly that. I just didn't want it to drag on for 2 or 3 months with negotiations. I mean, Mr. Jennings plenty of time, but we just need to try to get this settled up.
I imagine I'll hear from Sam tomorrow. I'll talk to him.
I figured you might hear from him sooner than that,
Yeah.
but anyway.
He knows what it calls night. I'll talk to you guys, but I ain't talking to another lawyer.
Anyway, if there's no further business, need one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
No,
Second.
We're adjourned.